Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln Wheat pennies coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly special to talk about, a coin that has captivated collectors for decades, and its value might just blow your mind. We're diving deep into the story of the iconic 1941 wheat penny from the United States. If you're a fan of rare coins or simply intrigued by what makes a penny worth more than its face value, you won't want to miss this. Let's start with a little history lesson. The 1941 wheat penny was minted during an important time in U.S. history. The country was on the brink of entering World War II, and the economy was in full swing. This particular penny is part of the famous Wheat series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958. Designed by the renowned sculptor Victor David Brenner, these pennies feature two wheat stalks on the reverse side, a symbol of prosperity and growth. The wheat motif was meant to represent the strength and resilience of America, especially in tough times. Now, why is the 1941 wheat penny so special? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and unique characteristics that make some of these pennies incredibly valuable. In fact, if you've got a 1941 wheat penny tucked away in a drawer, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. But before we get into the exciting numbers, let's explore what makes this penny stand out. The first thing collectors look for when evaluating the 1941 wheat penny is its overall condition. A coin that's been in circulation for decades is likely to show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and smoothing from constant handling. But the 1941 wheat penny that's in mint condition, free from any major flaws, can command a much higher price. In fact, some examples in perfect condition have been known to fetch thousands of dollars at auction, but it's not just about how well preserved the coin is. There are certain minting errors that can make a 1941 wheat penny extremely valuable. One of the most well-known errors is the 1941 double die penny. This occurs when the coin's design is stamped multiple times, causing a doubling effect on the numbers or letters. In some cases, the doubling is subtle, but in others, it's very noticeable, especially on the date. If you've got a 1941 wheat penny with a double die, hold on to it tight because it could be worth a small fortune. There's also the matter of varieties. The 1941 wheat penny was minted in two different locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint didn't add a mint mark to its coins, while the Denver Mint marked theirs with a D. This small distinction means that the 1941 D wheat penny is slightly more rare than the Philadelphia version. If you've got a 1941 D penny in great shape, you're definitely looking at something more valuable. But remember, the real prize lies in finding one of these coins with a rare error or in exceptional condition. So, how much could your 1941 wheat penny be worth? If you have a coin that is in uncirculated condition, meaning it's been carefully preserved, with no signs of wear, it could easily be worth a few $100s. If your coin has a noticeable double die error, that could push its value even higher. But for some truly rare examples of this coin, especially those with significant minting errors, the value can reach staggering amounts. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to own a perfectly preserved 1941 wheat penny with a rare error, such as the coveted 1941 double die penny, it could be worth as much as $78,000. Yes, you heard that right, $78,000 for a single penny. Can you believe it? A coin that started out as just 1 cent could potentially make you a small fortune. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, do I have one of these rare pennies? It's time to take a closer look at your collection. While finding a coin worth $78,000 is a rare stroke of luck, even the most common 1941 wheat pennies have a fascinating story to tell. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting your journey, keep your eyes peeled for the subtle signs of a rare error or a particularly well-preserved coin. Because sometimes, the value of a coin isn't just about its face value, it's about the history it holds and the rarity it represents. So, next time you come across a 1941 wheat penny, remember that it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Whether it's a mint error or a beautifully preserved example, this little penny could be the key to unlocking a treasure trove of value in your coin collection. Top 2, we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic coins, the United States 1-cent Lincoln Wheat penny from the year 1954. It may seem like just another old penny at first glance, but don't be fooled. This coin could turn out to be one of the most valuable pieces in your entire collection. So sit tight, because what you're about to hear just might change the way you look at your loose change forever. Let's talk about what makes the 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny so special. First, the design. On the front, or the obverse side, you'll find the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. This same image has graced the penny since 1909, marking the first time a real person appeared on U.S. currency. Flip it over, and you're met with the unmistakable wheat ears reverse, two simple stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent. These iconic wheat stalks gave the coin its nickname, the Wheat Penny. Now, the 1954 Wheat Penny was struck at two primary locations, Philadelphia and Denver. While millions were produced overall, the real value doesn't come from how many were made, it comes from how many survived in perfect or rare condition, and what makes your coin stand out from the rest. So what's the secret behind its worth? It's all about rarity, condition, and minting errors. That's where things get exciting. Let's start with condition. Collectors use a grading scale to determine the quality of a coin, and a coin in mint state, condition, untouched, uncirculated, still glowing with its original shine, is incredibly hard to come by. Most 1954 pennies saw years of use. They've been scratched, worn down, and tossed around. But if yours is still crisp, clean, and shiny, you've already got something special. But here's where the real treasure lies: minting errors. Some 1954 Lincoln Wheat pennies were struck with doubling errors, known as double die coins. That means parts of the design, like the date or the lettering, appear slightly doubled, giving the coin a shadowed look. These mistakes occurred during production and are extremely rare. There are also off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and other fascinating flaws that turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. These errors weren't meant to happen, and that's exactly why they're so valuable, because they're 1 in a million. Now, let's talk collector appeal. Coin enthusiasts are always hunting for that one standout piece to complete their collection. And the 1954 Wheat penny? It checks all the boxes. It's historical, beautifully designed, and increasingly hard to find in high-grade condition. It represents a moment in American history, minted during the post-war boom, when the country was growing and changing fast. Every coin tells a story, and this one speaks volumes. So, how much could one of these little copper coins really be worth? Well, if you happen to have a 1954 Lincoln Wheat penny in pristine, mint state condition, or even better, one with a rare and verified error, you might be sitting on a coin that could be worth up to $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000. Top 3, we're diving into a coin that has an incredible story and an even more incredible value. If you're a fan of rare and valuable coins, then you're in for a treat, because we're going to talk about one of the most sought-after pennies in American history, the 1958 Wheat penny. Now, you might be wondering, why is a penny from 1958 so special? After all, it's just a simple 1-cent coin, right? Well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover. The 1958 Wheat penny is more than just a piece of currency, it's a rare collectible that holds significant value in today's coin market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you're going to want to hear the full story of why this coin is worth so much more than its face value. First, let's set the stage. The 1958 Wheat penny was the last coin in the iconic Wheat penny series that was produced by the United States Mint, a series that ran from 1909 to 1958. These pennies were designed by the famous sculptor Victor David Brenner, featuring the beloved image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse. This simple yet powerful design has made the Wheat penny series one of the most iconic in American numismatics. The 2 wheat stalks symbolize prosperity and growth, and they were a nod to the country's agricultural roots. However, the 1958 Wheat penny was minted during a time of great change. The coin was struck at the very end of the Wheat series, just before the U.S. Mint introduced the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The end of the wheat penny era marked the conclusion of an important chapter in American coinage. This makes the 1958 wheat penny a particularly significant piece of U.S. history, but what truly sets the 1958 wheat penny apart from its predecessors? Well, in terms of regular circulation, it wasn't exceptionally rare. In fact, millions of these coins were minted and widely circulated. However, the key to their value lies in the rarity and condition of certain examples, as well as minting errors that can make a 1958 wheat penny worth far more than its face value. Let's start with condition. Most 1958 wheat pennies you find today have seen a lot of wear and tear. After all, they've been in circulation for over 6 decades. Coins that have been used and handled over the years usually show signs of wear, like scratches, discoloration, and fading details. But if you're lucky enough to find a 1958 wheat penny in mint condition, you've got a rare and valuable piece on your hands. An uncirculated coin, one that has been well preserved, can fetch a higher price than one that's been used in daily transactions. Coins that are graded as MS-65 or higher are highly sought after by collectors, and their value can increase significantly based on the condition of the coin, but it's not just about condition. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the possibility of finding a coin with a minting error. And when it comes to the 1958 wheat penny, there are a few error types that can make this coin incredibly valuable. One of the most notable errors is the doubled die. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin makes more than one impression, causing the design to appear doubled. If you have a 1958 wheat penny with a noticeable doubled die, especially on the date or other parts of the design, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Another error to watch out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the striking process, causing the design to appear off-center. An off-center 1958 wheat penny, particularly one that is significantly misaligned, can be worth a lot more than a regular coin. These errors are relatively rare, and collectors love the uniqueness of these misprints, but wait, there's more. The mint mark on the 1958 wheat penny also plays a role in its value. Like many other coins of this era, the 1958 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint produced coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint added a D mint mark, and the San Francisco Mint marked theirs with an S. Pennies minted in San Francisco and Denver are often considered rarer, and that can translate into a higher value for collectors. Now, here's where the excitement really builds. When you combine the right condition, a rare minting error, and the right mint mark, you could have a truly valuable coin on your hands. For example, a 1958 wheat penny with a double die error or in perfect uncirculated condition could easily fetch thousands of dollars in the right market, but are you ready for the big reveal? If you have a pristine example of the 1958 wheat penny, perhaps with a double die error or an off-center strike, you could be sitting on a coin worth an astonishing $7,667,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $7,667,000 for a single 1958 wheat penny. That's right, a coin that once only cost 1 cent could now be worth millions, depending on its rarity and condition. So, if you've got a 1958 wheat penny, it's time to dig it out of your collection and take a closer look. Whether it's a rare minting error, an uncirculated gem, or simply a well-preserved coin, this penny could be far more valuable than you ever imagined. Top 4, we're about to uncover the hidden treasures of a coin that might be sitting in your collection right now, or even in your spare change jar. We're talking about the iconic 1951 wheat penny. If you're a lover of rare and valuable coins, this video is tailor-made for you, because we're diving deep into the history, rarity, and value of this classic American coin. Stay tuned until the end for an exciting reveal of how much this humble penny could actually be worth. The 1951 wheat penny is part of the historic wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. For many collectors, the wheat penny is a beloved piece of American numismatic history. Designed by the famed sculptor Victor David Brenner, the coin features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity, growth, and the country's agricultural roots. It's a coin that represents a time in U.S. history when the country was dealing with both challenges and triumphs, from the Great Depression to the post-war economic boom. But why is the 1951 wheat penny so special? Well, first, we need to talk about the time period in which it was minted. The 1951 wheat penny was produced just a few years after the end of World War II, a period when the U.S. economy was in recovery, and the country was moving into the prosperous 1950s. The 1951 wheat penny is significant because it was one of the final years in the long-running wheat series before the Lincoln Memorial design replaced it in 1959. So, in essence, this penny marks the tail end of an era in U.S. coinage. But let's get to the real question: why does the 1951 wheat penny hold such value in the world of collectors? While millions of these coins were minted and circulated, it's the rarity and condition of certain 1951 wheat pennies that really make them valuable. Most of the pennies minted in 1951 have been in circulation for decades, showing signs of wear and tear. But if you're lucky enough to find one that's been well preserved or remains in uncirculated condition, you could have something much more valuable than just a 1-cent coin. When we talk about condition, we're referring to how well the coin has been preserved over the years. Coins that have been used in everyday transactions often show signs of damage, scratches, discoloration, and worn-out designs. But a well-preserved 1951 wheat penny, one that's been kept in excellent condition, can command a higher price among collectors. An uncirculated coin, one that still looks almost as fresh as the day it was minted, is highly sought after in the world of numismatics, but condition isn't the only factor that can boost the value of a 1951 wheat penny. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the possibility of minting errors, and the 1951 wheat penny is no exception. Over the years, some of these pennies were struck with errors that make them even rarer and more desirable. The most common error to look out for on the 1951 wheat penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is stamped more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect on parts of the design, particularly the date. A 1951 wheat penny with a double die, especially one where the 1 or 9 in the date is doubled, is a highly prized find. If you happen to have a 1951 double die penny, it could be worth a lot more than a typical coin from the same year. Another error to be on the lookout for is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin is improperly aligned during the minting process. This can cause the design to be misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank. These off-center strike coins are rare, and collectors love the unique appearance of these misprints. A 1951 wheat penny with an off-center strike could fetch a much higher price than one without any errors. Let's also talk about the mint mark. Like many coins from this era, the 1951 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark, while the Denver Mint used the letter D, and the San Francisco Mint used an S. While the Philadelphia versions are the most common, the Denver and San Francisco coins are generally considered more rare. If you have a 1951 D or 1951 S wheat penny, it could be worth more than the typical Philadelphia coin, especially if it's in great condition or features a rare error. Now, let's get to the most exciting part: the value. A regular 1951 wheat penny in circulated condition is typically worth only a few cents. But if you've got a mint state 1951 wheat penny, or one with a rare double die error or off-center strike, you're looking at a coin that could be worth hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. But wait, there's more. If you happen to have one of the rarest examples of the 1951 wheat penny, the ones with significant minting errors or in pristine uncirculated condition, it could be worth much, much more. So, here's the big reveal. If you're fortunate enough to own a perfect example of the 1951 wheat penny with a rare minting error or in exceptional condition, your coin could be worth as much as $76,000. Yes, you heard that right, $76,000 for a single penny. That's more than most people could imagine a penny being worth, but in the world of rare coins, it's absolutely possible. So, if you've got a 1951 wheat penny in your collection, take a good look at it. Check for any minting errors, look at the condition, and see if you might just have a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. Whether you're a collector or just someone who loves learning about coins, this 1951 wheat penny is proof that sometimes the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value. Top 5 and last unique penny, we've got something truly special for you, a coin that could be hiding right in your collection or even your change jar. We're talking about the 1952 wheat penny, a little piece of American numismatic history that could be worth far more than you might think. You might be wondering, why is a simple 1-cent coin from 1952 so special? After all, millions of them were minted, and the year 1952 might seem like just another regular year in the history of U.S. currency. But don't be fooled. The 1952 wheat penny holds a significant place in coin collecting, and it could be worth a small fortune depending on its rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. To understand why the 1952 wheat penny stands out, we first need to take a quick look at the history of the wheat penny series. Produced from 1909 to 1958, the wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history. It features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, on the obverse, with the reverse showing 2 stalks of wheat, which symbolize the agricultural foundation of the United States. The wheat penny was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, making the final years of the series, like the 1952 penny, particularly interesting to collectors. Now, let's talk about the 1952 wheat penny and why it's considered valuable in the world of numismatics. While it's true that millions of these coins were minted, the rarity of the 1952 wheat penny isn't necessarily in its overall numbers. After all, many were circulated widely. What really adds to its value is its condition and any potential minting errors that may make the coin stand out from the rest. The condition of the coin is key. Most 1952 wheat pennies you find today have been in circulation for decades, meaning they've probably been scratched, worn down, and damaged from years of handling. But if you happen to come across a well-preserved or uncirculated 1952 wheat penny, you're looking at a piece of numismatic treasure. A coin that has been carefully stored and remains in pristine condition can fetch a much higher price than one that's been circulated extensively. Graded coins, particularly those in MS-65 or higher condition, are highly desirable among collectors. If you have a 1952 wheat penny that's virtually flawless, it could be worth much more than you ever imagined, but condition alone isn't always enough to make a coin really stand out in the market. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is discovering coins with minting errors. And when it comes to the 1952 wheat penny, there are a few key errors that collectors are on the lookout for. One of the most common is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once, causing a double image effect, usually seen on the date or parts of the lettering. For example, if the number 2 or 5 in the year 1952 is doubled, that's an indication of a double die error, which could significantly increase the coin's value. A 1952 wheat penny with a double die error is a highly sought-after piece, and collectors will pay handsomely for it. Another minting error to watch out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off or appearing misaligned. An off-center 1952 wheat penny with a noticeable misprint can be an extremely rare find, and collectors will pay top dollar for these unique and interesting errors. These kinds of misprints don't happen every day, and having one in your collection can make a significant difference in its value. Additionally, the mint mark on the 1952 wheat penny plays a role in determining its rarity. Like many other coins of this era, the 1952 wheat penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint didn't use a mint mark, while Denver added a D mint mark, and San Francisco used an S. While the Philadelphia version is the most common, the Denver and San Francisco versions tend to be rarer and more valuable, especially if they are in excellent condition or feature a minting error. Now, let's get to the exciting part: the value. A typical 1952 wheat penny in average condition is worth just a few cents, but if you've got a well-preserved example or one with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike, the value starts to increase dramatically. In fact, these rarer examples can reach impressive prices in the marketplace. Here's the big reveal. If you've got a rare 1952 wheat penny with a double die error, off-center strike, or one that's in perfect uncirculated condition, it could be worth as much as $71,000. Yes, you heard that right, $71,000 for a single coin. It's incredible to think that a simple 1-cent piece from 1952 could fetch such a high price, but in the world of rare coin collecting, anything is possible. So, if you're lucky enough to have a 1952 wheat penny in your possession, take a close look at it. Check for any minting errors, inspect its condition, and see if it might be hiding a little treasure. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, discovering a rare 1952 wheat penny could change your collection, and even your financial future. Thank you for tuning in to today's coin discovery. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another exciting coin revelation. Happy hunting, and may you find your next rare and valuable coin soon.